Something is working against you before you even wake. It runs silently through your blood every single morning, and the fitness world has never properly explained this. By the end, you will understand exactly what it is. You will also get a protocol that changes everything. That protocol is called FAM, Fasted, Aligned, and Moving. Remember those 3 words before we go any further. But first, you need to understand what your body does, not what you think it does, what it actually does. Your body operates on 2 completely separate fuel systems. Think of your body as a warehouse with 2 tanks. Tank 1 is the glucose tank, filled with glycogen stores. That glycogen lives inside your liver and your muscles constantly. Tank 2 is your fat tank, your long-term energy reserve. That fat tank sits behind a door most of the time. That door only opens when your glucose tank runs dangerously low. Your body protects fat storage like a locked emergency vault. Glucose is cheap, easy fuel your body always reaches for first. Fat is expensive, harder to access, and always used last. This single rule controls everything that happens during your walk. Here's what happens during those 8 hours of sleep. Your liver quietly burns through its entire glycogen supply overnight. It has no choice. Your brain demands fuel while sleeping. By the time you wake, tank 1 is nearly empty. That fat tank door is now cracked open without you knowing. This is the most important mechanism almost nobody ever explains properly. When you wake fasted, that fat door swings open naturally. Even a small banana completely destroys this biological window immediately. One piece of fruit refills tank 1 within minutes silently. That one decision locks your fat door shut for 40 minutes. Your body will burn the banana before touching a single fat cell. This is precisely why eating before exercise defeats everything. We've been told for decades to eat before exercise. That advice gets repeated on blogs and by gym trainers everywhere. For high-intensity training, that advice carries some partial biological truth. But for a low-intensity morning walk, it is simply wrong. A 2019 study from the University of Bath proved this clearly. It was published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. Researchers compared people who walked fasted versus people who ate first. The fasted walkers burned significantly more fat during the entire walk. They also showed measurably better insulin sensitivity in the hours after. The fed walkers burned their breakfast, not a single fat cell. The fasted walkers burned themselves, specifically the fat around their organs. That organ fat has a specific and important scientific name. It is called visceral fat, and it is not like regular fat. Visceral fat is not the fat you can pinch from outside. It sits behind your abdominal wall, deep inside your core permanently. It cushions your liver, your pancreas, and your intestines from within. Unlike regular fat, visceral fat is metabolically active every single second. It is not passive storage quietly waiting to be used someday. If you carry excess visceral fat, that inflammation never ever stops. It raises your baseline insulin levels higher than they should be. It stiffens your arterial walls and slowly reduces blood flow over time. It makes your brain measurably less efficient at processing daily information. You cannot feel any of this damage happening inside your body. It produces absolutely no pain and no obvious warning signals whatsoever. But it is there, silently degrading every biological system you have. A fasted morning walk is one of the most direct solutions. It is one of very few things that specifically targets visceral fat. Now here is exactly what happens inside your body, minute by minute. In the first 5 minutes, your glucose reserves are nearly gone. Your muscles are working, and your liver is sending emergency fuel signals. A hormone called glucagon begins rising sharply inside your bloodstream now. Glucagon is the biological countersignal to insulin. They oppose each other. Think of insulin as the lock that keeps your fat cells sealed. Glucagon is the key that opens those fat cell doors from outside. When glucagon rises and insulin drops, the fat cell doors open wide. Fatty acids begin flowing freely into your bloodstream as usable energy fuel. This entire shift happens naturally after 8 or more hours without food. Between minutes 5 and 15, fat oxidation is accelerating rapidly inside you. Your muscles are now running primarily on fatty acids, not glucose anymore. Your heart muscle is running on fatty acids, and it loves them. Your fat cells are physically shrinking in real time as you walk. They are releasing their stored contents directly into your circulation right now. The walk itself is not the magic that makes fat burning happen. The fasted state is the magic. The walk only creates demand. That demand is modest, steady, and perfectly matched to fat oxidation. Your body is meeting that demand from fat stored years ago, not from what you ate last night, from what you stored long ago. Around the 15 to 20-minute mark, something entirely new begins happening. Your brain starts producing a protein with a truly remarkable function. It is called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and it matters deeply. The simplest way to understand BDNF is this: it is brain fertilizer. BDNF repairs existing brain cells that have been damaged slowly over time. It also stimulates the growth of entirely new neurons in specific areas. It specifically targets the hippocampus, the brain center for memory and learning. The hippocampus shrinks as you age, acting as a biological internal clock. A 2011 study at the University of Pittsburgh measured this effect directly. Researcher Kirk Erickson found aerobic exercise increased hippocampal volume by 2%. That 2% effectively reversed 1 to 2 full years of shrinkage. The control group, who only stretched, continued shrinking at the expected rate. 1 to 2 years of brain aging reversed from walking alone. Extraordinary. This is not a wellness claim. This is measured, peer-reviewed neuroscience. And it happens specifically because you chose to walk in the morning. Now here is where morning timing becomes more critical than most realize. Your body has a natural cortisol spike within the first 45 minutes of waking. It is called the cortisol awakening response, and it happens every day. Cortisol is your alertness hormone. It fires at a deep cellular level. It slightly raises blood pressure, clears brain fog, and mobilizes stored energy. Most people hear cortisol and immediately think of chronic stress and belly fat. That framing is incomplete. It only tells half the biological story here. In the morning, that cortisol spike is entirely functional and purposeful by design. It is your body's built-in alarm system, igniting every single cell simultaneously. But here is the part nobody tells you, and it changes everything. If you walk during that natural cortisol window, something powerful happens inside. Cortisol acts as an additional biological key on top of glucagon's key. It amplifies the fat mobilization that glucagon already started just minutes ago. You are now unlocking your fat cells from 2 hormonal directions simultaneously. The signal to burn stored fat is doubled, not just slightly increased. If you wait 2 or 3 hours after waking, that window closes permanently. The cortisol wave has already passed, and the amplification effect is gone forever. Your fat cells are still accessible, you are still fasted, but the doubling is gone. This is a documented physiological mechanism, not fitness influence or speculation at all. two people doing the identical walk in the identical fasted state, different results. Same duration, same pace, same empty stomach, completely different metabolic outcomes produced. The only variable is when, relative to waking, they walked out their door. That timing variable is the difference between good results and extraordinary long-term results. You cannot recover cortisol timing once that morning window has already passed. That is not a flexible guideline, it is a fixed biological fact. Somewhere between minutes 30 and 45, your muscle cells begin quietly adapting. They start up regulating something called GLUT4 transporters on their outer surface membrane. These are specialized proteins that pull glucose out of your bloodstream directly. They do this without needing insulin to facilitate or assist the process. Think of them as extra loading docks opening on the warehouse sidewall. Docks that bypass normal paperwork and process nutrient shipments immediately upon arrival. After your walk ends and you eat your first meal, those docks are open. Your muscles absorb glucose faster than they ever normally would under any circumstances. Your blood sugar spike from your breakfast is significantly and measurably blunted. Your insulin system gets genuine recovery time instead of being slammed hard again. Over weeks of consistent fasted morning walking, this improvement compounds in a remarkable way. This is the exact mechanism by which morning fasted walking improves insulin sensitivity, not through dramatic single-session changes, through daily compounded improvements built over time. The science is not dramatic. It is quiet, consistent, and deeply powerful. Every morning you execute this correctly, your insulin system gets measurably stronger. There is one more benefit worth understanding, and most people never hear it. Walking specifically, not cycling, not swimming, not lifting weights, creates a secondary effect. The rhythmic impact of walking creates mild pressure changes on a specific fluid. That fluid surrounds your eyes and maintains internal pressure inside each eyeball daily. Walking acts as a gentle, natural pump on your eye's drainage system. This lowers what is called intraocular pressure, the pressure inside each eyeball. Elevated intraocular pressure is the primary driver of glaucoma in most patients worldwide. The entire fat oxidation mechanism shuts down the moment you go anaerobic, completely. Your pace is the dial that keeps the fat-burning window wide open continuously. Now, the single mistake that invalidates the entire FAM protocol in just one step: eating carbohydrates immediately after your walk without any resistance movement component beforehand. That post-walk window is the most metabolically valuable window of your entire day. GLUT4 transporters are maximally active and your muscle cells are open for nutrient delivery. Your body is primed to direct all incoming nutrients directly into muscle tissue. But if you walk and immediately eat a high-carbohydrate breakfast with zero resistance done, a meaningful portion of those carbohydrates gets quietly redirected toward fat storage instead. You worked for an entire hour to open the fat tank fully, and then you immediately turned around and refilled that same tank with breakfast. The fix requires only 5 minutes and absolutely zero equipment of any kind whatsoever. Before your first meal, do 5 minutes of basic body weight movement. Push-ups, squats, a wall sit, a plank. The specific exercise does not matter much. What matters is that you send your muscle cells a clear demand signal right then. That signal tells your cells that construction is happening and nutrients need to arrive here. So glucose from your breakfast goes to muscle recovery, not directly into fat storage. 5 minutes of effort protects the entire hour of metabolic work you just completed. That is the complete protocol, fasted for 10 hours, aligned within 90 minutes, moving at talk test pace. 3 components, specific numbers, no substitutions, no shortcuts, no exceptions on any variable. The biology does not negotiate. It either receives the right conditions or it does not. Every morning you execute FAM correctly is a morning your visceral fat measurably shrinks. Every morning you skip it or do it fed is a missed biological opportunity. The inflammation running inside you right now does not take a single day off. Your fat cells do not wait politely while you decide whether to walk today. The mechanism is always running. The only question is which direction it runs. Either it runs toward fat storage or toward fat oxidation because you gave it what it needs. The FAM protocol is not a fitness trend invented by an influencer last year. It is applied metabolic biology, the result of understanding what your body actually does, not what wellness culture told you it was doing, what it actually does biologically. The warehouse is real. 2 tanks, 1 door, 1 key, 1 timed window. Fasted opens the door. Aligned doubles the key. Moving creates the demand. Miss any one of those 3 components and the mechanism runs at a fraction of its potential. Get all 3 right and your morning walk becomes the most powerful metabolic tool available. Available to you every single day at 0 cost and with 0 equipment required. The research supports this. The mechanism explains this. The protocol delivers this consistently. Start this week, not Monday, not next month, not after the holidays pass. Start tomorrow morning with your shoes already placed by the door the night before. Walk within 90 minutes of waking at the pace where talking feels slightly uncomfortable. Do 5 minutes of bodyweight movement before you eat your very first meal afterward. Repeat it daily and watch what 10 weeks of compounded metabolic signaling actually does. Your body has been waiting for exactly the right conditions this entire time. The warehouse was always there. You just never had the correct sequence of keys. Now you do, and every single morning is a new chance to use them. The fat tank does not care about motivation, mood, or how cold it is outside. It only cares about the conditions, fasted, aligned, and moving every single time.